Education. Education is the process of receiving or giving information about or training in a particular field or subject. What do we study? We study reading, writing, math, science, and history. Education is something that most children do every day, but in some cases, many children take it for granted and don't know how much of a privilege it is to be able to get the education they have. Many children around the world don't get a chance to get the proper education they deserve, such as in the Middle East. 12.3 million of the children in the Middle East don't have an education. The reason why children don't have education is because 1. Gender inequality, 2. Youth education, and 3. The environment and the economy.
Youth education. In 2010, almost 71 million adolescents were not in any type of school. That is millions of children that never get the opportunity to better themselves through education. Education is important for youth because that is when the brain is developing and you can learn and retain the most knowledge. Worldwide, 10.6% of young people are non-literate, lacking basic numerical and reading skills. This means that these children will not be able to work one day and give back to society. Children who are uneducated will not be able to make any advancements in society, and they may produce children in the future who they may feel do not need an education, and the cycle continues. Youth that are uneducated lack basic knowledge they will need to succeed in life. Many children do not get an education because they are forced to go to work instead of going to school. There are 168 million youth worldwide in child labor. That accounts for 11% of the overall child population. Children who work instead of getting an education will never get to advance in society and will be stuck doing the same thing forever. Children should get every opportunity that they can to be educated because they are the future of the world.
Gender inequality in education. Gender inequalities are common for many countries throughout the world when it comes to their education systems. Women, to be more specific, tend to suffer extreme disadvantages when it comes to their education throughout their lives, according to UNICEF. In 2013, about 31 million girls that should have been in primary schools and 32 million girls that should have been in secondary schools were completely out of school. Sub-Saharan Africa has only about 2 out of 35 countries that have gender equality. In South and West Asia, about 80% of the girls who are out of school are likely to never start school, while 16% of boys aren't expected to. This shows how education systems throughout the world lean dominantly towards males succeeding and not giving the women a chance. Gender equality is important, especially when it comes to in education systems, because if education systems are not equal, then what will be? Gender inequality as a whole has been an issue since mankind was created, and the equality in the education systems need to be a key spot to improve it.
Education and the environment. The environment in which you live can play a huge factor in the availability and quality of the education you receive. Some children do not have access to an education because of prejudices towards their sex, religion, or ethnicity. These prejudiced views are unique to the areas in which you live. In the United States, we do not have any restrictions on who may and may not attend public schools. In developing countries, funding to build schools and train teachers is just not there, so children in those areas lack the education they deserve. Sub-Saharan Africa is the area most greatly affected by a lack of funds. In that area alone, 32 million children are uneducated. The lack of early education for countries like this affects the population and country. Children leaving school to work without having basic skills like writing and reading greatly affects the development of the country as a whole.